And it was anywhere from, corporate vice presidents, corporate presidents, CEOs, ranch managers, ranch hands that were scattered out all across the country. And the thing they had in common is they'd all gone to Tarleton. Mm-hmm. So history is important as it impacts the future.
Yeah.
Where have we come from? How did we get here? We want to understand the trials and tribulations of getting to where we're at so we don't repeat it. I would ask them, what do you want to do when you graduate? Well, the majority of the responses are what they want to be in animal science. Well, I want to be a veterinarian. No, what do you want to do? Well, what do you mean? What do you want to do? What are you passionate about? If you're not passionate about what you're doing, you're probably not going to do very good.
Welcome to the Landowner Insider, the podcast for Texas landowners who want to stay up to date with current events shaping our state. Here we talk about issues that actually impact your Texas lands, markets, water, wildlife, policy, and the decisions that are shaping our state. I'm your host, Kasey Mock with the Mock Ranches Group, and in each episode, we sit down with the people who are shaping the future of Texas. We're not afraid to ask the hard questions. This is the Landowner Insider podcast presented by the Mock Ranches Group.
Well, Dr. Frank Owsley, thanks for coming in today.
I'm glad to be here.
We've been, you and I have known each other maybe for 2 years. No more than that, I don't think.
No, that's about right.
About right. And have gotten to we're going to do some real fun things together for the College of Ag and Natural Resources here at Tarleton State University, my alma mater.
Starting this fall.
Yes, sir. I came to Tarleton in 2003, finished in 2007. I started at Texas State University. Then it was Southwest Texas. And Johnny Johnson, Dr. Johnny Johnson, he always told my brother and I at the Houston Livestock Show that we were going to come to Tarleton. In the pig ring, he'd catch my brother and I and say, "See you boys in Stephenville." My brother came here as a freshman. I went to Southwest Texas. It's where my girlfriend was and all the different dumb things you do as a 18-year-old kid, And the ag department at Southwest Texas was not what I was looking for. And so I called Dr. Johnson and he said, "I told you so, come to Stephenville." And so I ended up in 2003 here in the College of Ag and Natural Resources. Majored in AS&D option 3, got out of Tarleton, worked in our family business for a year. The recession of 2008 made it difficult for my father and his family and I to both families to make a living. And so I went and used my degree for a short period of time as a county extension agent in Hays County. And through a course of blessings in life, brought us back here to Stephenville in 2021 to raise our kids. I always tell people that if you leave Stephenville, don't pack your bags too tight because you'll be back. Best town in the world, I think.
I enjoy it.
You enjoy it. How long have you been here?
11 years.
11 years. Before that, you did a stint at Auburn, I believe.
25 years at Auburn, and before that, 8.5 years at the University of Georgia.
University of Georgia. And you went to Texas A&M?
Went A&M for my bachelor's and master's, and Texas Tech for my PhD.
Okay. Well, Dr. Owsley is the interim dean.
Thank you.
Of the College of Ag and Natural Resources here at Tarleton State University. And Tarleton, I'm going to read a couple of things that I found about Tarleton. Number one, fastest growing public university in Texas. You can feel that if you live here. Money Magazine, among Money Magazine's best colleges in America for the 4th consecutive year. The Carnegie Research University High Research Spending and Doctorate Production Award. Top tier graduate outcomes, one of the top tier graduate outcomes in Texas. 84% of Tarleton graduates are employed or enrolled in graduate professional education within 12 months. College of Distinction Awards, 80% plus of students who attend Tarleton recommend Tarleton to other people. And then unrelated to ag, athletics at Tarleton have gotten pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a great place to attend school. And I appreciate you coming here. So when I got back to town and we opened our business here, so my wife and I's main office was in Austin, and we were raising our kids just outside Austin, and that wasn't for me. It's for some people, and that's fine. It wasn't for me. We were both raised in very rural farm and ranch families, and I didn't know how to raise my kids that way close to Austin. And so we moved our business here. We still have offices all over the state, but we moved our business here after about a year of prayer and seeking where to raise our families. First and foremost, that we, our prayer was don't let business or those things be a distraction on where to raise our kids. Just where should we raise our kids? And we ended up here, and it's been a huge blessing. But I wanted to get involved in the university. I was a horrible alumni. I was horrible alum. Wasn't involved. I didn't come to activities and events very often. Came back to Stephenville all the time. We've had business representation here for years. So I came back, and some of our friends that were in our weddings and went to school with, they never left. We left. My brother and his family left. They've come back since. And but when I came back, I really wanted to get involved in the university, and so started meeting some folks. I met you. Cody Lamb, Austin Van Hooser, a number of people. And now we have started the alumni chapter for the College of Ag and Natural Resources, of which I was appointed, I suppose, the president of. And so we've got some really fun things happening for the alumni of the College of Ag and Natural Resources here at Tarleton coming up this fall.
Well, that's one of the things that surprised me when I got here. Having been at Auburn, Auburn had what they call the Ag Alumni Association that had been there for a long time, very active. Several friends of mine had received some of their awards. I've actually gone back a couple of times since I've been here. And so I started asking about an Ag Alumni group at Tarleton and found out that we didn't have one. There's a very active Ag education.
Very active.
Group, but as for the college as a whole, Ag education is still very important. It's a very important program. Number one producer of ag teachers in Texas, number one or two nationwide, depending on who you talk to. But what's happened within the college is other programs have continued to grow. Example, 2015, there were 450 animal science students. This fall, there's 1,360 registered for classes.
Wow.
Just undergraduate students, which puts us as one of the largest animal science programs in the country.
Well, that's half the college.
Yes. It's the largest undergraduate major at Tarleton now.
Yeah, if you look at the enrollment numbers university-wide on campus, this year for the fall semester of 2026, you got 13,570 undergrad students on campus. You've got just over 2,400 graduate students on campus. Then you've got 9,000 dual credit enrolled students through the Tarleton Today program, 9,000 dual credit students. But if you just look at the College of Ag and Natural Resources, 2,551 undergraduate students on campus. So if you divide that in two, you get real close to 1,300. So your animal science program's half the college.
Half the college.
Wow. When I was here, I think AS&D was by far the biggest major.
And it's still big. It's not as big because what had been in it in the past. Ag education was in it at one time. Ag communications was in it one time. Horticulture was in it at one time. There was option 1, 2, 3, and 4. I think horticulture was 4.
Yeah, I was option 3.
You were option 3.
Option easy.
I wasn't going to say that, but it was as easy or as hard as you wanted it to be.
Yes, sir. I agree with
you
that.
could make it whatever, and that was the beauty, and still the beauty of it. There's a lot of the students coming out of AGSD are very prominent across the state in extension. In other industries. What had happened, though, is when I got here, Tarleton nationwide was almost, we called it one of the best kept secrets in the country. And I'll never forget, I went to National Cattlemen's Beef Association in Nashville in fall of 2016. And all I had was my little Tarleton pen. I went because I'd been going for years. And I had my little Tarleton lapel pen. And I bet there were at least 60 to 70 people that came up to me walking through their trade show, thanking me, saying they were so glad to see Tarleton was finally there. And they were all Tarleton grads. And it was anywhere from, corporate vice presidents, corporate presidents, CEOs, ranch managers, ranch hands that were scattered out all across the country. And the thing they had in common is they'd all gone to Tarleton. So now, just about every year since then, we've had a presence at things like National Cattlemen's Beef Association, at Texas and Southwestern Cattle Raisers, off and on with Texas Sheep and Goat Raiser, just making sure. And then the equine program is,
It's
again,
incredible.
it's just
Bobby's done a great job.
blowing everything out of the water. We've not resurrected, but we've got some new blood in the therapeutic riding program that it's already going. There's just so many good things happening within the college right now across the board. Percentage-wise, our fastest growing major is zoo animal management.
No kidding.
It's up to about 100 students, and 2 years ago it was brand new. It's a niche. It's one of those things that Wildlife and Natural Resources Department saw a opportunity. There's not a program exactly like it in the country, and it's 30 of the new freshmen coming into the college are just in that major.
Wildlife and Natural Resources.
In the zoo animal management.
Oh, zoo animal. That's under wildlife.
That's under wildlife.
That's
yes.
under wildlife. Got it. Okay.
So you look at the programs across, some of our traditional programs are declining, like AGSD, because we've pulled components out and they're standing on their own. When you look at them together, we're still, I used to say one out of every student walking around the main campus was in the College of Ag. And it's still pretty close to that. 1 out of 7 were animal science majors. We have a strong presence on our campus.
Great. Did you ever see it grow in this? Did you ever see the College of Ag and Natural Resources growing this much? You've been here 11 years, you said? Dr. Lambert how long was Dr. Lambert here as a dean?
He was the dean for 5 years.
5 years.
Dr. Dameron was dean for 5 years prior to that. Dr. Golphin was dean when I interviewed for the job. Dr. Druckhammer was interim dean when I got here.
Druckhammer was here when I was here.
And he was, going to find out he was, we were both at A&M at the same time.
Oh, really?
We lived in the same apartment complex and didn't know each other. But no, we always expected ag to be a major player on campus. And I think realistically, we expected it to continue to grow. Our emphasis on, once upon a time, we called it hands-on learning. Now it's experiential learning. We're one of the few places in the country that has the ability, that has the resources, like our Ag Center, that's close enough to campus, where students that come in, we're seeing a major shift in where our students are coming from. We had a very high percentage of rural students in 2015, and we still have a lot, but we're seeing a real increase in students coming in from the Metroplex, or from, probably even more dramatic, coming in from the Houston area.
Really?
Coming in here because some of it's because of their ag teacher. Some of it's because of the contest and the exposure we get in the contest. Some of it is just the reputation Tarleton has now for learning through trial and error, learning through doing.
We've got, my wife texted me this morning, 2 families that we knew very well from Wimberley when we moved back in Wimberley have kids enrolling at Tarleton this semester. They're not in the ag college, I don't believe, They're coming here because of Tarleton's ratings as just a rating for the university experience, a conservative university, a great experience. You've still got a family atmosphere in Stephenville. It's a small enough town that those kids are coming here just for the college experience, and they're studying business, and they're studying different degrees, not in the College of Ag, but they're coming to Stephenville because of the culture and the environment in Stephenville. Stephenville says it's a city of champions, right? So it means a lot of things. But if you look from the high school to the rodeo to the university, it's a culture of high achievers, and it's a culture of winning and a culture of high achievers. But it's a very tight knit community, and I think a lot of those students and the parents are looking for that.
One of the impressive things, and one of the things that impressed me about Tarleton was, not long after I got here, the billboards, as you got close to town, would say, "Welcome home."
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It feels like home.
And
where I grew up does not feel like home. I grew up in just south of Austin. It doesn't feel like home anymore. My brother and I, when we were 9 or 10 years old, probably, got a job for a cotton farmer. We wanted a stock show and show animals, and we wanted to hunt and fish. And family didn't have the money for all of us to do that. So my brother and I got a job for a cotton farmer, and we would walk the cotton rows and hoe weeds in the cotton fields in the summers. 1 mile down, 1 mile back, hoeing weeds before you could get water. So I know what a day's work looks like. But those cotton fields aren't there anymore. It's just track homes, and it doesn't feel like home.
One of my early mentors when I was growing up, because I'm an Army brat.
Oh, really?
My dad retired Army, or was retired Army. I was one of the lucky ones. We moved from Germany moved to Copper's Cove in 1961.
Okay.
I finished first grade there and graduated from high school. All of my siblings went to the same school district, same school system all the way through, which is very odd but my grandfather, my dad's father, was a sharecropper in Alabama.
Okay.
And my dad told us early on, no child of mine will ever be dependent on agriculture for a living. And at one time, all four of us had something to do with agriculture, and we didn't listen very close. The neat part about being at Auburn was a friend of mine was in the turf grass business, and I went out to see him one day, and he told me the name of it. So his farm was actually the last farm that my grandfather sharecropped. And I was able to see, what had become. It's we had gone through a period in agriculture where those involved, the parents of children coming up, farmers and ranchers, were telling their kids, look, don't get a degree in agriculture, get a degree in business, get a degree in something else. Don't get a degree in agriculture. Mm-hmm. And we've seen a change in that now. It's still, my background was the whole time at Georgia and Auburn, I was an extension specialist. I worked with farmers and ranchers for 33 years. And it's watching the plight, especially of the small farming places, but even the large farm. We talk about sustainability, which it's a buzzword for a lot of folks.
Sure.
But when you're in that for a living, it is real. Mm-hmm. We've got a program, I'll have to, Dr. Gene Loney Dudley, is director of a program called Center for Rural Resiliency. We were talking about that yesterday, that broad brush stroke of resiliency. What do we do for the rural part of the country? Mm-hmm. We look at the state of decline in rural communities. There's a focus on rural health care. We've been talking about veterinary service in rural areas for decades now. But even at the farm and ranch level, how much land is being removed from production every year?
Yeah, that's frightening.
It is scary. And when you look at, we are a global leader in food production, but the area that we have available for food production shrinks dramatically every month, not just every year, but every month. So the students today, the folks we're teaching today, we have to give them a basis and a platform to grow on for what they might be doing 5 and 10 years down the road. And it's, that crystal ball is kind of cloudy right now. But we have to talk about things like efficiency and, feed efficiency is important. But one of my favorite exam questions when I'm dealing with beef cattle is write a job description for a cow. And one of the first two things has to be producing a calf every year, but they have to produce that calf under the conditions of the ranch. You can't bring in genetics from somewhere else designed for something else and expect them to perform.
Sure.
It's all about efficiency. How much production are you getting, not per animal, but per acre now? We have to be really good at what we're doing. And it's this generation that we're teaching now, even the kids that are coming in off the farm and ranch, trying to give them the science background, the business background, so they can either go back home or go out on their own. It's really, I've been doing this long enough that, I look at former students, crap, I've got kids that I help with in 4-H in Georgia are grandparents now, which is really scary. But looking at the students and how they have succeeded, it's a handful, but it's really a lot of fun to see, oh, I taught that kid, or that was my advisee, or people talk about this generation and the problems we're having with it, and I argue with them because my experience with this generation of students is they're really good. They've got a lot more going on than any student ever had before. There's a lot of things demanding their time, whether it's real or perceived. So when you get one that performs well, they're performing well under a completely different standard than even you had or I had when I was going through school. A lot of competition for their time.
I was talking to a good friend of mine, Trevor Poe. Trevor works for Texas Animal Health Commission, lives here in Stephenville. His daughter's enrolling in college ag as a freshman this year. Kennedy, great young lady, communicates exceptionally well, which I think's so important for kids today to be able to have a conversation with an adult one-on-one, not get nervous, uncomfortable, fidgety. She can look you in the eyes, shake your hand, take rejection, have a high-level conversation, communicate exceptionally well. I was asking Trevor what she was going to major in, and we were having a conversation about that. I told Trevor, and I want your opinion on this. I told Trevor, I don't know if it matters so much what she chooses, as long as she can communicate, she understands numbers. You got to understand numbers. If you don't understand the numbers, you're going to work for somebody who does. So you need to be able to communicate. You need to understand the numbers. You need to understand technology and AI and how it can make you more efficient. I said, Trevor, I believe more will change in the next 4 years that she's in school than has changed in the last 20 years since we've been out. I see the speed in which our business is changing with AI and technology and how we're having to use that to be efficient because there's more things demanding our time. And you just don't have the time to spend 4, 5, 6 hours on a research project that you can go do that fast with other tools and assets available to us. How do you see, in the college, how do you see AI changing things, and how do you implement that without, you want the kids to learn, right? They've got to learn. They have to be able to think critically. And as I'm saying this, it is a valuable tool. Friday, we had an issue where our DocuSign, our digital signature software was down for a day. It shut us down. We had to, it was emergency. When you can't sign documents remote, it was a minor emergency, and that's not a big deal, And so I think about people that are so dependent on AI and so dependent on technology. Man, we're a pretty easily disrupted society if that's the foundation of our productivity. So kids have to be able to think, but it's something we can't ignore either. How do you think about that from
it's
the department?
And I said earlier, part of our job as educators is to lay a foundation that the students can build on. And that foundation, if we do it right, prepares them for the loss of things that we might be used to.
Yeah.
I mean, when I moved to the University of Georgia in 1982, the office I was in had just received their very first desktop computer, an Apple IIe. I was one of two people in the whole office that knew how to turn it on, and I just figured it out. We were amazed at what that computer could do. I imagine no hard drive. We finally got up to 128K of RAM. We were developing software that we could use for farmers and ranchers, thinking we could never, ever, ever make use of all of that. That iPhone will do what our mainframes were doing in the 80s and 90s. But the fact that we had that concept of technology where you could think on your feet. So what is AI going to do? We know they're using it. We have folks that are very scared of, very leery of students. Well, that's just another way to cheat. But it's when you peel everything back. I'm old enough to remember software we used to call DBase and DBase 1 and DBase 2. Artificial intelligence is really a compilation of what we know.
Sure.
Put it together with a series of algorithms that you can punch in a question and it will go through this entire database of hopefully facts and give you information. It's still human derived.
Sure.
There's really nothing artificial about it. Humans were behind it.
It's just a quicker search.
It's just a quick search.
Quicker aggregated search.
And so when you look at it that way, it is a tool. It's a tool that can speed up what we do, but you have to have the logic.
Yeah.
You have to have the ability to think and reason. Does that number look right? I mean, I can give one of my test questions if I'm, teaching swine production, for example. I'll do one on nutrition. If they plug it into artificial intelligence, so I talk about feeding pigs on pasture. And the artificial intelligence answer is, well, you have to make sure you have a high quality pasture.
Yeah.
And pigs don't do well on pasture.
No.
They don't grow on grass.
No.
They'll eat it, they'll tear it up, but they don't grow worth a flip on it. It hasn't gotten to that point on these, and sooner or later it will. Excuse me. The other thing and this was something that I challenged some of my coworkers about a long time ago. One of them used to use a quote. It was attributed to Dale Carnegie, "Those convinced against their will are of the same opinion still." And I did a lot of stuff related to environmental regulations when I was at Auburn. People telling farmers and ranchers what to do rather than telling them why they should do it.
Right.
I used an example when I was doing cattle handling demos. Working cattle was like working department heads. They'll do anything if it's their idea. Then I became a department head. I'm going, I can't believe I said that. But it's the advantage that we have in a college of agriculture, especially on the animal side, is we work with animals. On really all components in our college, we're working with live creatures, and we understand behavior. We're actually producing students that are, if you think about it, better prepared for the world than somebody that's going through a textbook lesson that never really gets out of the book. So all of that, it's thinking, logic, reasoning. What would I do? Why am I doing it? Does it make sense? Is it logical? And those are hopefully the skills I hope our students have when they leave Tarleton.
That's important.
Very important.
Logical thinking, critical thinking, the ability to know a skill and have intuition about what's right or wrong. Those are hard to teach. When the university was predominantly, or the college was predominantly rural kids, they kind of came with some of that. As you move toward a more urban student base, you're probably going to have a little less intuition, I would think, coming in.
We have less, and it's really, and again, go back to my days at Auburn. Before I left, every fall, I did a handling demonstration it was supposed to be for students that were in, for example, our block and bridle club. It turns out they made it a requirement for all incoming freshmen. I went to one expecting 20, and I had 150 show up. The kids that did not come from a ranch background typically were the ones that did the best because they didn't have any bad habits. There was no, well, that's not the way Daddy did it. That's the way Grandpa did it. That's the way Uncle did it. So it's kind of a give and take. We've had some kids come through from an urban and again, they may have had 4-H and FFA, but really coming in from an urban background that are managing ranches, owning ranches, phenomenally successful veterinarians. They're in NRCS, Soil and Water Conservation District offices, involved in pretty much all aspects of production agriculture, just because they had a passion for agriculture, but not the background in it.
Sure.
But they had a clean slate.
Outstanding.
And we put them out on doing internships. They're going out working on ranches. We've got people all over the country calling, hey, we had so-and-so as one of our interns. We'd like 10 more just like them. That makes us feel good.
You know Bill Leverton?
Yes.
So Bill, he's great. I need to have Bill on here too. Bill tells that story a lot. He's in the business, college business, isn't he? Yeah, and he tells the same story, that when they get companies to accept interns from Tarleton, they want interns from Texas A&M or Tech or some of the bigger universities, right? When he gets them to take students from Tarleton, all they want is more.
And it's, you mentioned Bill in the College of Business. We're actually working on, I don't know how many joint programs we have now between the College of Ag and Natural Resources and the College of Business. We're working on some co-branding programs, actually working with our division of Ag Business, looking at how much they have in common. Are there duplicative courses? And sooner or later, we're going to have not combined programs, but we're going to have shared courses.
Sure.
Where a student from the College of Business is taking a class in the College of Ag, and at the same time, our Ag Business students are taking courses in the College of Business. So those lines are getting a little fuzzier now.
Yeah. You have to know the numbers. Business, if you're going to be in agriculture, you have to know the numbers. If you're going to be in wildlife management, you must know the numbers.
Yes.
Unless you're inherently wealthy and you're coming in and you're taking over a family ranch that has a family fund to pay for the operations, and if it's sloppy, it doesn't matter, which is a minority of people. If you want to get into agriculture, you have to know numbers. And you have to know them. I was talking to a guy yesterday. He's one of my clients. Grew up with my dad. Career in agriculture. It's all he's ever done is cow-calf and some farming, but mainly a cattleman. The farming operations they do is really to support the cattle business. And I was talking to him about his hay and how much. I asked him, "What's your hay worth?" And he told me his hay everywhere for $45. We're probably going to stack it. And I said, "What do you have in a roll?" He didn't know. You don't know if you got $30 in it, if you got $50 in it. Didn't know. Probably a range there. But somebody coming out of college that wants to get into agriculture, whether they're all Schedule F income, or if they go get a job in town and they want to use that to purchase a farm and upgrade over time and build up and trade up, which is probably the way most people do it. They're going to go get a job, a JOB that's not Schedule F, and they're going to buy a little place and have some cows or have a little farm operation, and then they'll sell that one and exchange and trade up and exchange and trade up and exchange and trade up. It's probably how it happens. You have to know the numbers. You got to know what you have in that roll of hay and what that cow is costing you annually, not just in feed and vet bills and depreciating the purchase price, but also she goes down in value every year.
Mm-hmm.
Depreciation of the cow. I heard a guy talking this week. Depreciation of the cow is one of the biggest, most overlooked expenses in a cow-calf operation. I was also talking to Austin Van Hoosier. You know Austin.
Yes.
Very well. Austin's our vice president of the Alumni Association for the College of Ag and Natural Resources. Austin is a farm manager. That's what he does for a living, Farmers National Company. And I was talking to Austin about expenses in a cow-calf operation because my in-laws farm and ranch for a living. And I was talking to Austin about that. And Austin said, you know, the way they look at it, every time you start the tractor, your profit margin's going down. So find a way to plow less. And he was even discussing, Austin was even discussing grazing your hay instead of baling it. Turn in on your hay, turn the cattle in on your hay, graze it off, save your native pasture for the wintertime, and just compare the economics of doing that as opposed to handling that grass several times. Because if you're baling it, you've got to handle it a bunch. If you're baling that hay, you got to handle it right. You've got to come in and cut it. You got to cut it. You got to bale it. You got to stack it somewhere. And then you've got to go haul it from wherever it's stacked to the cows and feed it. And there's some waste there because they're going to step on it and waste a good bit of it. Right? I don't know what your percentage of waste is, 5 to 10% probably in a round bale of hay. But Austin was talking about the efficiency of just grazing your hay off. Still grow it, but graze it.
This episode is brought to you by the Mock Ranches Real Estate Group. At Mock Ranches, we specialize in representing buyers and sellers of farms, ranches, and recreational land across the state of Texas. Our team sold over $1.25 billion of Texas land, and we focus on helping landowners make smart decisions about their most valuable assets. If you're thinking about buying or selling, or simply want to understand the land markets better, get a hold of us at mockranches.com. Mock Ranches, Texas land represented right.
Across the southeastern United States anyway, ag economists have been telling farmers how much money they lose when they cut and bale their own hay.
Mm-hmm.
And in this part of the world, if you think about it the way you should, you cut and bale when you have excess.
Mm-hmm.
You never want to run the maximum number of animal units per acre or per section because you get in time of drought and
sure.
And I think the rules of thumb are somewhere between 60 and 70% of total stocking capability of what you'd run on. So in years when you have rainfall, then there may be a benefit of either cutting and baling or having somebody cut and bale.
Mm-hmm.
But an animal is going to cut and store it much more efficiently than a tractor will.
Oh, sure. And like, let's take coastal Bermuda, for example. You want to be grazing that in the summertime. Let your native pasture rest, turn on your native pasture in the wintertime if you can. Now, not everybody has that luxury. Sometimes it outgrows what you can graze, outgrows the number of animal units you have. And some people just don't have it. Some people don't have native pasture for wintertime, so they have to bale up their summer pasture, or they don't have summer pasture, so they have to graze their winter pasture and then supplement with feed and hay in the wintertime. I understand that. The hay business is a good business. But if you have the luxury of doing both, you got to look at those numbers.
You have to. And there's so much about, I used to ask the question, how many, when you look at, for example, the number of people, the number of farms and ranches with cattle around the country, how many of those farms and ranches are dependent upon the animals for a livelihood? That number's not real high.
Not real high.
And the estimates are anywhere from a high of maybe 20% to a low of maybe 5%, just depending on who you talk to.
Well, you know how cattle grow best. The same as deer. They grow best in the shade of a pump jack.
Right. Or as we used to call it, the big black cows that graze in the same spot all the time, never move. But you look at the other commodities we deal with. I mean, I haven't met very many people that milk dairy cows for the fun of it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've only met one person that said that they raise pigs because they like to fool with them.
I like the way they smell.
Those when you get into those industries, they're very serious about everything. They're very serious about the finances, the profit, the loss.
Yeah.
How do you calculate it? What is
Because they're making money pennies at a time.
They're making
or losing it.
Their margin is very small, but they have to have it.
Correct.
There are bills that have to be paid. They have an overhead.
Yeah.
So one of the fun parts of teaching students is I'm not an economist. I'm a nutritionist by training, but trying to get basic concepts of economics in the hands of the student. You know, what is a variable cost? What is a fixed cost? What do most folks look at profit? It's not really profit. It's return to management and land. I've only met one farmer across the Southeast whose salary was included in the cost of operation.
It should be.
It should be on most of them.
It should be on everybody's.
But this was a very unique.
But that's common right there, Frank, in every small business that I coach or try to purchase. Most of them tell you what they make, and that's their revenue number.
Right.
Yeah.
Or
I was trying to buy a business here in town. The guy said, well, we made $850,000 last year. I said, that's wonderful. Can I see your P&Ls? Well, that was his revenue number. You know, then he had expenses for fuel and equipment and cost of goods sold and et cetera. And I said, well, where's your salary in here? They just live on what's left. So it didn't have a clear salary. So in order to realize a true operating profit, you have to have a manager's salary factored in there. You have to have a manager's salary factor, or else it's not marketable or equitable, you know. Then you're just paying back cost of land. Yeah. I got a question as I've come up here. As the university has grown and as the College of Ag and Natural Resources has grown, what do you have to intentionally protect? Because the culture here at Tarleton is very special. So what must you intentionally protect as it grows?
We have to, and I used to tell folks, history is important as it impacts the future.
Yeah.
Where have we come from? How did we get here? We want to understand the trials and tribulations of getting to where we're at so we don't repeat it. But the things that make Tarleton special, the family atmosphere, the home atmosphere. I don't want to say conservative. I actually asked a class one time how many of them were conservative, and they looked at a Webster's Dictionary definition of conservative. Conservative is somebody that doesn't like change. But when we look at, the values that students at Tarleton have. I made a comment yesterday. I was listening to a conversation between a student and a faculty member, and I looked at the admin and I said, there's no other university I've ever been at where I could sit in an office and hear that conversation. And they were discussing about where they each other went to church. Mm-hmm. You know, things like that. It's not so much we're going to try to protect, but that's what makes Tarleton special. We have that
the people
that freedom of speaking our mind. We are not going out on the ends of the pendulum swings. We're focused, we're centered, and those are the things that we want to. I don't want to say try to protect. That I hope we're able to maintain. There's a lot of different ways of doing things. We want to respect the different ways of doing things, but we also want them to think about what they're trying to do. What is the end goal? Tarleton is, a lot of folks would say, well, we want to be the perfect place for everybody. And it's probably not going to be.
No.
There's kids that are going to thrive at other institutions. The neat part is we don't lose very many students. When they come to Tarleton, even though they come here thinking they're going to transfer somewhere else. The majority, not all of them, but the majority of them stay. Mm-hmm. And it's the values that we have. I will tell incoming freshmen, I'll tell their parents, I've never been anywhere where students had the resources for success that Tarleton provides.
Mm-hmm.
Health benefits, we call them care teams. If we see a student struggling, if we can recognize, the opportunities for help are just unlimited. They just have to be able to ask.
Yeah, have to be able to ask.
And that's the hard part.
Yeah.
But those are the things I hope we're able to maintain. And those are the things I learned when I got here.
Those things were in place when I was here. It's parts of them.
And they were, I'm not going to say they were stronger then. The focus on the student was very strong. We're looking at going from an R2 university to an R1 university. We're seeing more and more emphasis placed on research. And so there's folks that are saying, well, we can't do that in lieu of teaching. We have to do it in addition to teaching. We have to maintain our focus on the students. That's what we're here for. But the emphasis on research, I look at it as just another tool in our toolbox for teaching students. Mm-hmm. I've got students, and we all, anybody, we have students involved in undergraduate research all over the college. And it is a phenomenally impressive group of young people that are doing, like the one you mentioned, very well spoken. I had one that was going to help with a project. She came into my office, and we sat down and we're trying to figure out how we're going to do this project. She had the experimental design already written up. She'll be up for a junior this fall. She had it all. I'm going, crap, I'm not going to argue with that. Mm-hmm. She had it all put together. She's doing research, but she's also learning while she's doing it. And that makes us very unique in Texas.
I want to shift real quick as we wrap up to the alumni group. I'm excited about it. Cody's been a very good supporter. You've been a very good supporter. We've got a real strong chapter. We'll have a presence at most of the football games, around rodeo, homecoming week, parents week, to launch that. And so any former students of the College Ag and Natural Resources, get in touch with us, because we'd love to have your input, feedback, engagement. I'm really appreciative that you're supporting that, because I think it's very important. I've had a lot of us that were alumni of Tarleton are envious of some of the stronger alumni groups, like Texas A&M, for example. Very strong alumni group, very strong culture after college to stay connected, very strong network there to stay connected. And I believe that Tarleton can have the same thing. That's why I'm passionate about it. What do you see for that group, for that chapter?
The biggest thing is getting Dr. Hurley makes a deal at every graduation talking about the graduates giving back. Mm-hmm. Now, a lot of times, I'm not going to put words in his mouth, but a lot of institutions, giving back means give us money.
Yes, sir.
Giving back in my world means bringing back expertise. I listened to overheard your conversation earlier this morning. You've made some comments that I've told students, but you can tell them, and it's got a completely different meaning.
Yes, sometimes you don't need to change the message, but you need to change the message.
That's it. And when you bring somebody in, a graduate that's been out 5, 10, 15, 20, 50, however many years, bring them back in the classroom, talking to our students, bringing them more engaged on campus. I think we will. Yeah, I'll say it. If the ag group takes off like I think it will, within not too many years, it will be the majority of the Tarleton Alumni Association, because our emphasis on ag has been so great for all these years. We haven't even scratched. I mean, it was like my trip to NCBA in 2016. There were Tarleton alumni all over that trade show, and nobody knew them.
Yeah.
And I didn't have enough sense to get all there. So it is a chance for alumni to give back and give back to our current students, to bring back your experiences. You know, I've looked at, we've got quite a few of them that I taught early on when I got here that are phenomenally successful right now. And I would love for them to come back into class and say, yeah, when I was in school, I skipped class more than I went. But this is what I've done since then.
Yeah.
You know, those kinds of stories, students will relate to it.
Yeah, I was the same. And I share your goal and belief that this will be one of the predominant groups of alumni in the entire university.
No, I don't want one of them. It will be the
number one
predominant group.
Yeah.
That's a challenge to everybody else. We have so many alum from our college that are.
I think we're going to find out how many of them have been highly successful past college, because it's a big group.
It is.
I know a lot of them. Majority of our company is Tarleton. We have some very strong team members that went to Texas Tech and Texas A&M as well. Majority of who works in our firm went to Tarleton, on the business side and on the sales side. When I was in my corporate role in Austin, largest real estate company in the world, the office I worked in, the team I worked on in that office, had more Tarleton grads than any other university represented. And that was at a corporate office at the largest real estate company in the world. I looked around one day and I thought, there's more Tarleton people here that went to Swine Lab than there are people that went to Ivy League universities. And we're all in this corporate executive office right here. That was one of my first, that was a proud moment as an alumni at Tarleton State University, was that moment right there when I realized that, and I realized this story needs to be told more. And then shortly after that was when we moved back here and started to get more involved.
Well, one of the first questions I asked when I got here was, Tarleton have an Ag Alumni Association? And it's gone round and round, and Dr. Lambert, when he was dean, listened, and, we tried to do some things, just couldn't decide how we're going to do it. And it wasn't until really the last year that we really had a lot of interest. Some places the Ag Alumni Group is not affiliated with the University Alumni Group. It's the way Auburn's was for a while. I don't know how they are now.
I was asked that question when I was asked to be a part of the Alumni Association's board. And my position was it must be affiliated with the university and the overall Alumni Association. If not, it's siloed and fragmented, and that's not a path. That you can go faster there. And what I told the people on the call that day was, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, you have to go together.
There is,
and there's no question, because I've worked in corporate America, there's no question, if you want to go fast, go alone. You can go faster as a startup by yourself. You will not go farther very often that way.
It is all about, and even in our world, in the research world, in the teaching side, even in extension service work, it's all about collaboration. And those that can collaborate do well. When you bring a lot of minds together, and you have an alumni association that, when they're functioning well, provides an infrastructure that, as an affiliate group, you don't have to provide. There's things there are, you can focus more on what you're really there for.
That's right.
And not trying to maintain the corporate structure. You can maintain your affiliate structure.
Yes, sir. All right, last question. What's one piece of advice you'd give to a high school student preparing for college?
It's the same piece I give every one of them. before you get to college, challenge yourself. Do something that you've never done. Do something that may scare you to death. Do something that you didn't think you could do. Students that are not successful their first semester are the ones that come in and are absolutely shocked when they walk into their first classroom. When you've challenged yourself ahead of time, you know, a kid that's gone through FFA and been on a lifestyle judging team, I tell them, get on the 4-H judging team, talk reasons. Mm-hmm. Nothing more challenging than talking a set of reasons to some old goofy fart like me. I told one student said, well, I always wanted to skydive. I got a message 2 months later from her dad, please don't do that anymore. I had to go skydive with her. But challenging themselves, preparing them for whatever college courses are going to take. But get over the fear, get over the fright. Remind it, because it's all about confidence. Mm-hmm. And a student that comes in with confidence, they're confident in their ability to handle challenges. They're the ones that thrive.
Yeah. I think it's important for some of these kids to go have some adventure. I agree with that. Have some adventure. You know, I've talked to my son. He's only 12, but he's thinking about what he wants to do. He's still at the age he's going to live in his bedroom and live close to mommy and go to Tarleton. You know, and my daughter, she's going to live in her bedroom and live close to mommy and go to Tarleton too, right? So they hadn't grown out of that phase yet. But I've talked to Maddox. I said, Bub, when you graduate from high school, you need to go get a job for a hunting outfitter in Alaska for a year. You need to go do that. Get some adventure in your system and get some adventure out of your system and then enroll. Or go to the military. He's talked about that too. But you need to do one of those things so when you get to college, you're ready to focus. You've got some of that adventure. Kid ought to go on a walkabout a little bit. You got some of that adventure out of your system. You're ready to learn. You got some maturity there. Flowing a little bit.
Well, it's been real. One of the things you mentioned, maturity, one of the really impressive things about Tarleton. I've taught classes where there was a significant number of veterans in the class. Mm-hmm. And the things that they bring to a classroom setting is just unbelievable. There's that level of maturity and thinking, and they can challenge. One other point, and I used to ask this to all of our animal science sophomores. I would ask them, what do you want to do when you graduate? Well, the majority of the responses are what they want to be in animal science. Well, I want to be a veterinarian. No, what do you want to do? Well, what do you mean? What do you want to do? What are you passionate about? You know, if you're not passionate about what you're doing, you're probably not going to do very good.
I'll give you a model for that. And then we got to wrap up because I know you got to get. When I sit down and interview somebody, I'll ask them, I'll say, Frank, let's assume that we don't get together in this position and I see you 5 years from now. We're at homecoming. I run into you. Dr. Owsley, great to see you. How have you been over the last 5 years? And you say, Kasey, it has been the best 5 years of my life. I want to know what you did. And I'll draw a piece of paper into 4 quadrants. It'll be professionally, financially, personally, and family. And I'll slide it across. And you tell me what your best 5 years look like. Has nothing to do with your job title. What'd you do? Mm-hmm. What did you do? What did your life allow you to do? I learned to fly a plane, and I've been to Alaska, and we've got 3 kids, and we've saved, and we've paid off our student loans, and we bought our first house. And I said, okay, that's what matters to you. So my job as an employer is to make sure we can accomplish those things right there. And I'm going to hold you accountable to them. But most people don't think that way. Most people don't think that way.
I was lucky enough, my very first department head said no faculty member in his department would be able to survive in the department if they ever put their job in front of their family. Mm-hmm.
That's a good mentor.
And he was Dr. Hurley asked us the other day, told all of the administrators group across campus, we were supposed to write a letter to three individuals that had a great impact on us. My biggest problem was trying to come up with three that were still alive. But that department head I've got his address, and he's pushing 90, but I argued with him a lot. But those experiences shape all of us if we allow it to.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you spending this time with me this morning.
Didn't even have to not answer a question.
All right.
Well, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Everybody listening, tell you what I was told in 2001 by Dr. Johnny Johnson. We'll see you in Stephenville at Tarleton.
That wraps us up. I appreciate you listening to the Landowner Insider. If you found this episode helpful, be sure to follow the show, leave us a review, and share it with another Texas landowner. For more insights, listings, and resources for Texas landowners, visit mockranches.com. Until next time, I'm Kasey Mock, your host. This has been the Landowner Insider. Go get 'em.